What do you think is the biggest thing that holds you back from climbing? Do you think it's lack of time? Maybe lack of patience? Maybe bad teams? Or just overall frustration? It could be a lot of things, but today I want to talk a bit about what I think is the biggest thing that holds you back from climbing. Now, I've been near the top of the solo queue ladder for 2 years now, and I've coached people all the way down to bronze, even I think iron at one point, and all the way up to challenger. And there is one thing that is consistent in all of them. What I'm about to talk to you about today is not some trick to instantly get better, but rather it is a tool and a way of thinking that will make you improve. Now, what would you say defines a League of Legends player? I would argue that it is the consistency in our play that is the most important. We play hundreds of games, maybe even thousands, and in those games, what is it that stays consistent? Our habits. Our habits translate into game to game, every day, every week, every month, every year. Therefore, seeing our improvement through a lens of our habits makes complete sense to improve. I would even argue that it's self-evident, yet it is a concept that I see very few people talking about. I believe that to improve, you must break down your gameplay to the simplest concepts possible and make them applicable to every single game. Now let's have an example scenario here. You get hooked by BLITZCRANK. Initial response could be, I inted, I got hooked by BLITZCRANK. And then the obvious answer, I need to improve, can't get hooked by BLITZCRANK, I need to dodge BLITZCRANK hook. But let's say we wanted to break that down further and actually learn from this mistake that we made. First of all, we could ask ourselves, do we struggle versus BLITZCRANK or hook champs in general? Breaking it down a little bit further, we could then ask ourselves, why? Is it disrespect, lack of knowledge, simply turning my brain off? Do I realize that this hook champ is a threat to me? Or do I realize and I just simply don't respect it? And then we could break it down even further and say this statement: I disrespect the enemy's engaged support and don't play around their windows. Now you have something concrete that is very fundamental that you could track from game to game. Every game you could ask yourselves, if they have an engaged support, am I respecting their windows and am I taking advantage of when they don't have their windows, when they waste their spells? And asking yourself in this way and breaking it down in this manner is a way of seeing the game and seeing your gameplay differently from what I feel like a lot of people do. If you do break down League to the most fundamental level whenever you can, I believe it's the greatest way you can be your own coach. When you're able to take tiny mistakes and break them down into larger intertwined patterns, you see real improvement. Another example, let's say you don't ping enough. The obvious answer would be, well, you gotta ping more. But let's say we wanted to break it down further. Now, pings are a form of communication and a way to engage yourself in the game. Pings can be simply seen as a tool to communicate what you want. Then we could go down two roads of the problem. I don't know what I want, so I don't communicate. I do know what I want, but I don't communicate. For the first one, it could be your inexperience that leads you to doubt your beliefs that you hold about the game, or it could be simply insecurity in your gameplay. For the second, it could be bad experiences leading to either frustration or anger, and simply giving up trying to communicate with your teammates. Luckily, the answer for us is the same. By breaking it down one step further, we can say that pinging is simply involving yourself in the game and giving yourself the highest agency by taking control of the game. Therefore, the solution isn't simply to ping more, it is to think of yourself as a leader. Demand what you want, say what you don't want. It is simply a way of involving yourself in the game. And therefore it becomes self-evident, self-explanatory, that you need to involve yourself not just by pings, but mentally. You need to become a leader in game. You need to become demanding, active, and proactive in the game. And by taking this proactive approach, if things go badly, you can break down why it went badly and reflect upon it to learn, and when things go good, you will see your desired result. Taking a proactive approach to your in-game habits and trying to break down everything you do into patterns and habits, I believe is the single greatest thing you can do for long-term improvement. I felt like for a long time, this hasn't been something I've really read anyone talk in depth about, when I feel like giving yourself the tool to improve is a lot more desirable than scouring for individual tips and tricks for matchups or champions or anything related to the game of that sort. I believe the single greatest thing you can do for your improvement is to give yourself the tools to improve, not the tips or tricks. Your habits define your gameplay. Climbing in League is a marathon, not a sprint, so being able to look long term and deeper into your gameplay will help you tremendously on your long journey. Now, I wish you the best of luck, and I thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a subscription is much appreciated, and a like as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.